Good morning, everybody. Hope you are doing well. With that, we'll start with our session today. So, what in the last class we have discussed, let us quickly relook into that and then we can start with our today's session. Very good morning. From Solan Center, can you please tell your name, your audio and video? Solan Center. Fine, Mahesh. Very good morning. From Vizag Upland. Who is attending? Can you please tell your name? You, wish you the same. Okay, Malik. All right then. So let us see that what in the last class we have discussed. In the last class we have discussed about the few things about your kind of your templates, how we can create the template style implementation in our program, how to do. Okay, that we have been. We have also discussed about the event handling features, like event handling as part of your action event. How we can go for your value change event, how we can go. But there are different kind of your event handling, how we can do that. Then we have started discussing about the implementation, about your style, the style portion, how we can go for. Like if I want to give a common style to all the component, UI component of your page, then how you could do that. That we have been discussed using your style feature. And there are different kind of your style, as we know. That is, we have inline style, embedded style, and external. Then the next thing that is what we have been discussed is we have started discussing about your templates. Okay, and in case of your templates, we have seen how we can create a template. And there, okay, we have been discussed about the few tags. UI : include and insert are the tags which we have been discussed to create or include a file or creating editable areas. So such kind of things if you want. Then we go for your template kind of create a template, and that template can be used by the template clients also. So the such kind of things also we have been discussed over here, and how to use the template by using this that we have been discussed. And then we have started discussing about your composite controls also. In the composite controls, we have been discussed about how we can create our own controls. There are different type of your tags. Implementation, composite column, you have value holder, action source. All these are the different type of your tags which are available in case of your composite controls when you are using. And how to use the composite control like a demo we have been discussed also. So that are the few things what we have been discussed so far in the last class, what we have been seeing. And now today we will be moving down to the other part of this. Okay, we'll see how we can go for how we can implement other things like developing the Jsfhs pages, enabled pages, how we can implement. These are the things what we are going to discuss. And also we are going to discuss about how to implement your Hibernate applications also. So that are the few things what we are going to discuss. Okay, let us will move down. Okay, how we can go through these. Let me start with that. So let me start with Jsfhs. That is the 8th chapter of your Jsfhs we are implementing. That is developing Ajax enabled web pages. If I want to create, how do I create the Ajax enabled web pages in our web application? That we are going to discuss also. Let me start with. Yes. So now we'll go for the Ajax-based control. So how we can implement Ajax, that we are going to discuss. We'll quickly relook into the Ajax-based control. So what is an Ajax? What is Ajax? Okay, asynchronous JavaScript and XML. What is the purpose of Ajax? I want all of you to respond, because already it is we know already that it is a part of our WCD also, where we have discussed about, where we have know about Ajax based implementation code also. Can we have any response from the participants? Can you set your web camera properly? Shivani or Pavitra?
Pavitra is
I did not get you.
I think she'll come. Hello?
Yeah, may I know your name?
I'm Shivani.
Pavitra still has not come.
Yeah.
Shivani, you are from Kanakpur Road Center?
No, I'm from Gandhi Bazaar Center.
Pavitra from Kanakpur?
Yeah.
Very good. Maksud has responded. Thank you, Maksud. Operation without performing a post back behavior. We can include information of this. I'm not getting the proper one. Mallikarjun, what do you want to say by this? I did not get. We can include the information of JSP or convert it into HTML pages. Is it exact like that? No, I want the response can be different. Your web camera properties on your sensor. On your sensor. So let us see any other response. Saying about Ajax, but Malik, you can change your response. Okay, a bit changes. See, basically Ajax is used for partial page updation. Okay, basically you can say that Ajax is based on the partial page updation. That is okay. Generally, the behavior of a web page is to completely submitting the data. Then you can receive the data. Generally, what it will happen. That means the request will go, process that particular request, and response will come back to the user. So that is what the general synchronous behavior which will happen in the case of your web pages. But however, if you want, no, I don't want to go for this kind of things. Rather I want to implement a partial page updation. That is, a portion of the page only will be sent to the server and come back. Okay, so such type of implementation if you want to do, then we go for the Ajax based implementation. And various times we do this Ajax based implementation. So maybe you see a common observation in the case of your Google. If you see also, it is implementing the Ajax based implementation. How it is giving, whenever you are typing something, there are some suggestions it is coming over there. So how it is coming back, that is based on the Ajax only. That means whenever you type, there is an event is occurring, and that event will be fire, and it will be sending a request to the server, and server will give the suggestion for you. So that is what how the implementation which is occurring actually. So user has to wait during the each post back. Okay, so the full page is rendered and transferred to the client. Okay, each post back, which is time consuming and traffic intensive, which is saying. This is if we do not have the Ajax based implementation, this is what will happen. So each time the user has to wait for the whole page to be submitted, and we are getting the response only. But however, okay, in a case of your Ajax-based implementation, asynchronous JavaScript and XML, if you are implementing then we will have a the synchronous implementation between the client and the server, so that okay, you will see that okay, the whole page need not to be submitted to the server. In turn, okay, a partial page can also be okay, submitted to the user, maybe a div, maybe a table data, maybe a certain group data which can be sent to the server, and you can get the data also. These are what we can do. Yes, please. Yeah, tell me now.
Sir, give me this again, that Google, how it is Ajax based.
In the case of your Google, generally when we see the Google page, I do not have internet connection, okay, hence I am showing this. So
Okay.
Google, you'll have, this is my text field, right? Okay, generally this is the text field, and we have certain buttons which are there here. And maybe you are typing here Max. When you are typing Max, okay, so there are certain suggestions which are coming over here, like that. We are getting like this?
Sir.
Yes.
Yeah.
Now you see this, okay, let's say Max maximum or Max math something. Okay, so according to the starting of Max word, there are 7 words have come. Okay, for your searching, there are 7 words it is coming. How these 7 words are come?
Okay.
From where it has come? Okay, that means okay, this request has sent to the server, where that is to the Google server. This is my, let's say, Google server. Now Google server, okay, has searched that okay, whatever the data which is starting with Max, and after that maybe 7 words it is getting. Now that 7 words it is sending to this. But this request and response when you are sending, okay, is it the page is totally submitted? Is it the total web page went and come back? Do you feel like that? No.
No.
Only what is happening, the
text
portion
field.
of the page, okay, that is this portion of the page data only it is sent, and you are receiving that. Okay, the whole page is not submitted. The whole page submitting is something like you see yahoo.com, you give username, you give password, you submit. Then what will happen? The total page is submitting, you have to wait for a half minute or something, then you are getting the inbox page. That is called your total page
Yes.
submission. But here it is not happening like that. But still it is working with your server, but still okay, you are not totally sending the page. Other page content is as it is there, but this portion of the page it is getting the data. So that is called your partial page updation.
Yeah.
Is that my point now?
Thank you, sir. Yeah. Thanks.
So this is about, so this is the request which will be sent, that is nothing but your XML HTTP type of your request which you have to send. Okay, normally we send HTTP type of request, normally, okay, generally web pages when we are sending, we send HTTP type of request. But however, when you are going for Ajax based implementation, remember that okay, we use a request type, it will be XML HTTP type of your request which will be sent from client to the server also. And when you are getting also the type of response, it is XML and HTTP type of your response which you will get also. Alright, so that is the conversation, how it will happen in this case. Alright.
Okay. Thank you, sir.
Shivani, have you downloaded the notepads and all? Are you there in the group?
Yes. Sir.
As well
Yeah.
as Pavitra also?
Means, yes, sir. Yeah, yesterday was left. Yeah, I think you haven't
Yes.
uploaded
Today I have
material.
Today I have
Otherwise, I have implemented everything. Yeah, thank you, sir. Yeah.
Today I have uploaded. Please download that also. Okay.
Yeah.
So are you able to do by that all these demo files? Is it means?
Yeah, I have already done.
Useful.
Yes, sir. Yes, very useful. Yeah, thanks.
So This is what we have the how the Ajax-based implementation, the partial page updation which is happening that we have seen. So this is one of the example only. Sometimes you may see like username and password. You give the username. When you give the tab itself, okay, then there is an slowly it is running and it's saying username is exists already. So how it is can be possible. This is also the same username and username it has checked in the database server and it has come back without refreshing the total page. That is also it is implemented through the Ajax-based implementation only. So that is a few points. Okay, that are the few things. Okay, which you talk about the Ajax-based implementation code and all that we can talk about. Okay, so these all the Ajax-based implementation how we are using in case of your JSP or Servlet or maybe other languages also. Is it Ajax can be implemented even .NET or PHP, or is it only specific the Ajax to Java only? Anyone can have an they can give the answer quickly. Is it Ajax is going to be implemented only in Java, or it can be implemented to .NET, or it can be implemented to PHP also? Thank you. Yes, I got the response from Shivani and Maksud. Others, can you please respond? Fine, Mallikarjun. Fine, very nice. Yes, definitely. So it is can be implemented even in case of your. You can also implement that as in the other servers. Also, we can go for like other technologies like .NET. Even we can also implement in our say PHP also, or everywhere we can be implementing this. Ajax-based applications can also be implemented. It's not only that okay we are implementing in my let us say it is not that okay we are only implementing in my say Java only. So Ajax is based on asynchronous communication and it requires JavaScript, it requires XML. Can anyone tell me that okay why we require JavaScript? Okay, why we require JavaScript in Ajax based implementation? Can anyone tell us? No problem, okay, and we should have said. Can anyone tell us okay what is JavaScript? Why we require this JavaScript in Ajax-based implementation? Why should I go for a JavaScript? When I'm saying that okay, when I'm implementing Ajax, okay, I need to go for JavaScript. What is the need of JavaScript to be implemented? Is there any mandatory or I can skip or anything? Okay. From model town, from Delhi model town, your video. From Pikampura. From Pikampura, can you set your web camera properly? To implement simple business logic side. My it is not exactly why we should go for business logic only. So, no, I'm asking as a functionality wise, why should I go for JavaScript actually? all UI component have the events by using event. We can run functions which we can solve this. Okay, fine, Malik Rajan, that can be correct. From Pitampura, okay, just I want to tell you. See, JavaScript we are using because Ajax based implementation whenever we are doing, it is based on an event only we'll do. It can be anything. This may be maybe on key event, or it can be on a say button, it can be on a mouse event, or for various event which you want to do. That means, see, like a Google, when I'm saying, okay, when I'm typing something, then okay, the request it has to go to the server. Now what is happening? That means on a key press or a key up, okay, that time that event has to be fired, and then there is a request, it has to go to the server and come back. Maybe if I'm saying that, okay, so username, and I've typed and I've pressed the tab, then it is checking whether the username is existing in the server or not. That is what it is happening. It is nothing but a on blur. Okay, that's the event which is occurring, and then that time the request goes. So for any particular request, when it has to be sent from the client to the server, there should be an event. Normally the event is submit button. You click on the submit button, then it has to go to the server. Okay, it's a normal request, okay, which will be sent to the server. But however, in the case of your Ajax, it is not like that. It is not that, okay, only submit button you will may type. It may be a keyboard event, it may be a mouse event, it can be a combo box, it can be a say text box event. So hence we require the JavaScript. So because of the event which is generated in case of your say HTML based component, hence we need to go for your JavaScript. And XML, as I told you, like because the request and response will be of type XML HTTP type of your request, hence we go for your XML based data also we can go for. So now will be moving down to the next part. Working of an Ajax enabled web pages. How we can do that we'll see now also. In Ajax enabled JSF application, JSF integrates Ajax onto its life cycle. The integration splits the JSF lifecycle into the following parts: execute and render. So these are the two things which we can be implemented as part of your JSF lifecycle. We'll see that. Now convert the 5 phases. Now please remember, this is very, very important one point which you need to remember as part of our Ajax based implementation. There is something called as execute phase and render phase. This is what the lifecycle. Normally we have the JSF lifecycle, 6 different lifecycle which we know, 6 different phases: restore phase, apply request values, then we have process validation, update model values, invoke application, and render phase. These 6 different phases which are there. All these 6 different phases will be placed into 2 different phases. One is called as execute, one is called your render. Okay, in JSF, when we come to Ajax, the first 5 phases will be comes under an execute phase, and the render phase will be another phase. So these are the 2 phases. Okay, you can. So that means you are clubbing all that 5 phases, first 5 phases into execute, and the second one render phase itself. That's it. Okay, so this is how your life cycle which will be there for the Ajax based implementation. That is simple diagram it has been given. You can see restore view, apply request values, process validation, update model, invoke application comes under your execute phase. Whereas render response phase will be a second different phase also. Alright, any questions? I want everyone to respond. Any questions? Fine. So this is about the 2 different phases which we are talking about. Now we'll be moving down to the next part, that is nothing but your application areas of Ajax. How we can implement the application areas of Ajax that we are going to see. Ajax provides asynchronous communication to the server, that is partial update of the web pages which you are doing. So what the time we can do? Can you give any other example of this Ajax based implementation? I have told Google, I told name. Anyone else can give me another example, okay, which we come across in the Ajax? It is a common one. Which I told, that is Google. What? Okay, you have typed Java server pages, Java server, okay, the Java server pages, like that. Okay, there are some certain your suggestions which are coming, that will be comes under the okay Google. So this is your Ajax based implementation, what we can say. Information about the student. Okay, fine, that is also NSC BSc index will be very nice. Okay, money control. Yes, Masood, okay, are you going through this moneycontrol.com? So I think, okay, you are the part of this, so maybe in the same.
Yeah.
So, yeah, that's why, okay, you have that. Okay, yes, very nice examples which you have shared. It was the part also, okay, where we directly, within a minute, okay, every time it is being refreshed automatically and we are getting the share values and everything. So that is one best example for Ajax based implementation. Thank you. And fine. So the next one, it can be weather forecast, it can be an example for that. Okay, then we have cricket score. Okay, that is also an Ajax based implementation. All these are the different kind of your Ajax based implementation which we can see as a part of your the implementation, real-time implementation in our websites and all. The next, we have seen that okay, Ajax will have the offer quick response, then asynchronous communication. It will support different type of browser. Doesn't have any problem with compatibility of the browser and all. Multiple browsers can also be supported by Ajax-based implementation also. Ajax-enabled web application also have few limitations. Some of them are browser integration, dependency on the JavaScript. All that are the few things what we can talk about your Ajax-based okay, enabled web application is all about. So if I want to implement the Jsfs, when Jsfs will implement okay, Ajax-based implementation, how do I implement that? Okay, that code. You could see that okay, F:\Ajax is the tag which I need to use for implementing the Ajax-based implementation in my program. So let us will see that okay, how we could implement the Ajax-based implementation. Let us will see that. Now we can have Ajax-based implementation. So you could see that we have http://java.sun.com/jsf/core namespace which is there. So this is the namespace which we are using for implementing okay, your the Ajax-based tags, because the Ajax-based tags can be implemented in the core namespace. Now I have Ajax tab. Okay, Ajax tags will have disabled. We have event. We have execute. All these are the different type of your other your properties which are available in the case of your Ajax tag. And disabled, which will be specify whether the Ajax behavior added to the UI component is active or not. These valid values for this attribute is true or false. We can be specified. Event is also an another attribute which we can be specified to the Ajax, which will be action will be triggered. Then okay, we can specify the execute is also an attribute where you can specify that whether okay, the values which you can give in the execute, whether this or a form or all or none, are the values which we can be specified in the F:\Ajax also. Then we have immediate, we have listener, we have renderer. Okay, all these are the other properties. We have on event, on error. All these are the different other properties which we can be implemented when you are implementing the Ajax-based implementation, like the Ajax-based implementation in our program also. So we'll see that okay, how we could how we could use this Ajax-based implementation programs in our web application. If I want to do, how do I do that? Okay, that we are going to discuss now. Let me go with that, okay, with a simple implementation. Let's see. So I'll create a simple application, okay, to implement the validation kind of things. So we'll see that, how we could do that. That is what we are going to discuss now. So I'll take a sample example. So I just want to create a sample application and I want to implement this. So web application. Day4. The name I have given. Alright, you could see that, okay, this is the index.html. I want to write, okay, I have created a demo, okay, implementing Ajax. See, in our book, a somewhat big example he has given, okay, very simple example I have created, nothing in that, okay, so you can easily understand in that. He has took a very long example of all the, a registration page and all. So I want, okay, everyone can go through my example, which is very simple, but the same implementation code, whatever it is there, okay, it is been given over here also. So you can just go through this. So now what I've done is, okay, I've created an web application that is day4, and in that, okay, index.html, I need to add this particular code. Simple code you can add. What is this code you see? Okay, we'll go through this particular code now. So because it is a core namespace tag, so I need to add this core namespace also. You could see that. Okay, now it is ready. Okay, you have input text, input name, value, user data.name. Okay, and it is, that means, okay, it is binded to an binded to the bean value, and command button which will return that, okay, show message method. And on this particular command button I have implemented the Ajax based implementation code, which I can talk about. And in Ajax based, as I told you, there are different kind of your attribute which we can be specified, and in that, okay, we have the attribute like execute is an attribute, and the name of the attribute, that is which you are going to use, that is we have to specify. Here the text field I have given, the text field name. If you want the current say current UI component, then we can give also that this as the current component also. Now render, that is, okay, to the message whatever you are supposed to be display, okay, after your response will come, because, okay, which particular component which need to be taken for the request, and when the response will come, where it has to be written. So that two things you have to give. So execute is the one, okay, from where the request will get, and the renderer is the one, okay, where we are going to print that particular response for us. So the output message, which is nothing but, okay, where we are going to print that, okay, that is I'm going to print whether user data welcome message. If it is not null, then the welcome message will be printed. Other than that, okay, he will be printed without anything. So that is a sample one which we have done. And if you want to print any kind of your colors or anything, if you want to give, that is can be possible also. So this is a sample example which we are talking about. Okay, this is I need to create a bean. Okay, that is all. And in that, okay, there is one property, that is a string property which I need to create, that is nothing but a welcome message also. Okay, so this is what we need to implement. Alright, so when you click on the button, okay, then this input name as a text field value, it has to go, and it is going to render with this, okay, output text, and based on a condition, it is going to render also. Now let us see that. Okay, next we can have the different kind of your events also we can specify, but for a command button it is click. But for a text field, if you want to give, then I can go for different kind of your events also we can be specified for that. Alright then. Now I need to add a managed bin. This is you see. Okay, I need to create a managed bin called as user data, and in that, okay, you need to create a string name. Okay, which you need to be specified, and get welcome message is nothing but a, you can say the welcome message is a property which you can be specified, where I can give the whatever the name you have specified. Depending on that, okay, it is going to retrieve that data. So this is what we can talk about. Okay, now let us see this. Okay, now I'll add the managed bin. How to add a managed bin already you know, new. Then you have to go for your Jsfs managed bin, and I need to create that user data as a bin, and I can go for com as a package, and session is a source scope which you can be specified over here. User data, then eager is equal to true. So this is the kind of things which we can be implemented over here in this case. Now I can have string name, I can give this, and here you can write getter method and setter methods, you can be specified to that. You have used get name index.html, we have the name property, yes. So we need to use insert code, getter methods and setter methods, use that getter methods and setter methods to generate. Now I have one more method, that is public string, okay, get welcome message. Return, you can say hello plus the name, whatever the name it is, that you need to give it here. Okay, so get welcome message, which is the name which will return to you. Alright then, so this is the few things what we can talk about. Okay, a sample managed bin which you need to create, and this managed bin we are using here. See, user data.name is User data is nothing but your bean name, and name is the property, okay, which is been binded to. And whenever you click on the show message method, then the message which will be displayed, and if the welcome message is not null. So that is a few things we can talk about as part of your implementation program. Okay, as part of your implementation we have been discussed. Now the next one, it is nothing but, okay, we need to create one more project. Okay, so if you want to run, okay, just you have to run this particular project. Very simple implementation program which we have done. Nothing is there. Okay, we have only index.html code and one managed bean I have created. Okay, then we are trying this particular Ajax based implementation code, how it is running, that we are going to discuss. No problem. Fine. Thank you. Wish you the same, Arun. From Pallavi, I think if you have written any question, it has went. You have to type again. You could see this one. This is hello null. It is displaying for the first time. But however, if you want to write any code, maybe Sunil, if I want to type that, then if I click on the show message, okay, then you could see that, okay, hello Sunil, it is going to display over here in this case. So that means, okay, it will, what is happening, okay, in this case in index.html, the output, whenever you click on this input, okay, then automatically to that output it is going to render that particular data. That is way how it is implemented. Thank you. Wish you the same, Pallavi. All right. Any questions? A simple one which we have created. Okay, so you can create the different other things also, like Ajax based implementation code. If you want to implement, you can do. In our book, we have been provided like with an event like a key up and all. If you want to do that, we can do also. If you want to do any kind of your validation, and in the bean you want to write a validation code, that is also can be possible. So all that, okay, the other things also we can do and we can implement simply. This page, I have created a sample Ajax-based implementation code. So that is to tell you that, okay, the Ajax-based implementation, very few things if you want to see. One is that, okay, Ajax, we know what is an Ajax and everything, but okay, as part of the JSF it is concerned, in JSF, the life cycle of Ajax is into two phases. One is that, okay, execute, one is that your render. All the JSF pages, the 6 different pages, now it has to be, okay, clubbed into 2 different pages only. The first 5 pages it will be taking as an execute phase, and the next page it will be nothing but your, okay, renderer page. Now then, okay, if you want to implement Ajax based implementation, then we have to use a tag called as f::Ajax is the tag which we have to use, and this f::Ajax, which is the core tag library. So obviously you need to add a core tag namespace which we need to add also, and then you have to use the different properties of that particular Ajax based tags also. Any built-in? No. We do not have. If you want to create, you can create using your composite component. You can create your own Ajax-based controls, but however, it has not been provided by default here. So that's the part about your Ajax. So in Ajax, this is the main tag which you are using, F:\Ajax execute, and here in the execute, you need to specify which will be the input source for this Ajax-based implementation, that is the request source, and the renderer is nothing but which will tell us about who will be where exactly the Ajax response will be returned to that. So that will be called your renderer. It can be a text field, it can be in a message dialog, it can be in a say number of values, in a label. That all the things which you can be as a render you can be specified. That particular ID of that you need to specify. Execute is from where the data we have to be received, that is from a text box or from a combo box. That you can be the part of this execute also. And when you are writing, you can also write the event also. Now, as part of your command button, it is by default it is a click. But however, if you want to do like for input text, I want to go for a key up event or anything. In that case, F:\Ajax event is equal to key up. You need to specify like that. So these are all the few things what we can be implement as part of that. Now see this is what we can use. F:\Ajax event is key up, and within that he has written over here H:\input text value is equal to register bean dot first name. This is value is binding, and validator is what registration bean dot validate name. Now you can also write like this. The here the event key up, but renderer is what? If there is a validation message will come, where it has to be written. Whether it has to be written in a label, whether it has to be written in a message, where it has to be written, that also you can be specified in the renderer also. That you can get. So these are all some of the your tags which you can be implemented on this. You can say that there is, as I told you, then if you want to display the response also, it has been given over here. Event is key up. Renderer is name error. Name error what? The name error which is, you can see here, the message, H:\message for F name, ID is equal to name error. Name error which is the renderer. That means whatever the response, the validation message will come, that it will be printed over here. That kind of things which you can be also specified here. Alright. So these are all the few things what we can give. Even in the key up, automatically that validation it is going to happen. If you have given any kind of your first name you are giving, somebody has given H symbol, automatically that should say that no, you cannot give any kind of your special characters, only alphabet which has to be written. Such kind of things which we can do even in case of your through the Ajax based implementation, which we can do that. So such kind of things we can implement through the Ajax. So this is all about your how we can go through the Ajax based implementation and all. So in this session we have discussed about Ajax enabled application, and Ajax will give you quick response, asynchronous communication, multi-browser support, and Ajax enabled web application have browser integrations, dependency on the JavaScript. If you do not have the JavaScript implementation, Ajax cannot be run. Then F:\Ajax is a tag which you have to use in case of your Java in your Jsfs implementation of the Ajax. And we can use java.sun.com/jsf/core or xmlns.jcp.org is one namespace which we can be used for the Ajax. And in F:\Ajax we have the different tags like disabled event, execute, then we have listener, then we have renderer, on event, on error. All these are the different type of your properties or the attributes for the F:\Ajax tags also. But these are all the different tags which will be the part of your FSAT. So it will ask you that this is very very important attributes. So please remember these attributes for the for your FSAT. So what is immediate attribute, it will ask you, which will specify whether the Ajax behavior is processed in the apply request value phase or invoke application phase, on the JSF phase. The valid values for this is true or false also. If you are saying true, that means okay, it is apply request value page. Okay, it can be processed from that. So this is a question which may be asked in your examination type in FSCT. So please remember from Ajax, okay, the syntax we need to remember. Okay, what is these attributes we need to remember also. Okay, so for FSCT questions. All right. So that's all about your JSF basic things. So any questions, if you want, you can ask me as part of your JSF. I want everyone to respond. But tags, we can have the messages, client messages and all basic validations which can also be done. Okay, or you can want to have the values to be printed. Okay, anything you can do in the Ajax-based implementation. Yes, unmute your mic, unmute your mic. Yeah, please, sir.
Yeah, good morning, sir. Happy Teachers' Day.
Thank you, wish you the same.
Yes, sir, I just want to know, for Ajax is used for the client-side validation. Is that correct?
It is not only validation. I will not say that it is only validation. Right, okay. The real-time purposes where we see there are various usage. Not only correct validation. It is one of the parts.
Decreasing the burden of the server exactly. Na? Main purpose is decreasing the burden of server.
Okay, okay. Well, like you are saying that okay, as part of the validation should not happen in the server. It can be happen maybe that
the client side.
Client side. But however, in the Ajax, we send that actual Ajax purpose is what? What is Ajax does?
It's the XML and the JavaScript based code which we have to use. Can say that validations and the server client side scriptings and all. Basically, purpose for the client side.
No, it's not like that. It's not like that. In that case, you mean to say that okay, if it is client side, that means it is not interacting with your server. The Ajax-based application, it is not interact with your server.
But that means a limited part, which part we required to send to the server. That only part will be goes to server.
Yes, that means okay. Basic purpose is no. Basic part is not validation. I think validation is one of the.
I'm saying.
Okay, one of the
part I want to say. That means if we required not whole page will send again to the server, only some part event we want to send for the checking to the server. That is the main purpose of the Ajax.
Correct.
So I just want how it will execute, because if we want to code like that, that means the code will execute at the client side.
Client side will not execute. No, the data only the response will come and it is printing. That is only we are doing. But executing it is happening in the server only. Have you done one programs in our WCD, if you remember, like Ajax-based programs?
Yes,
so what exactly we do? We click on the submit button, or we click on we click on a checkbox or anything. The request where it goes, the XML HTTP request goes, and it will be sent to the server. In the server only the data will be carried, and then which we are sending to your client. Whether you are doing the validation or whether you are fetching the data from a database, that is a different issue. But you are going to the server and come back. Only thing that, okay, you are not going to refresh the whole page, only the partial page updation which is we are going to do. That is the main purpose of your Ajax based implementation. But it doesn't mean that, okay, it will burden on the server, it will release or anything. That is anyway it has to, okay, send to the server. Whether any work if you want to do, obviously server has to do. Client part is only to send the request and get the response, and the response will be rendered here in this case.
Yes, because now at that time the server not need to send the request response for the whole. We have to the server has to send the request only for the some content. So burden will automatically come reduce.
No, burden is, it is not that, okay, burden. It is because of performance point of view we are doing that. Instead of, okay, sending the whole response, then user has to wait. No, until that, okay, user will be idle. It is not the actually see burden, it is the user idleness. The user will be idle. If you will refresh the page, what will happen? In legacy period, if you will go to the legacy period, the request has to send, the process has to happen, then you are getting. So user is idle.
Again, the whole page
user idle, if you want to remove, then we come back to this particular feature that why should I, okay, make the user as idle. Okay, a part of the page it can send and it can come back. The performance of the application will be, okay, better, and user will not be idle. User can work other, okay, part of the page also. That is the actual objective of your Ajax.
Yeah,
so you are moving the Ajax into a validation purpose, and okay, you are saying that you are what is your mean is I am doing the client side validation. Why should I go for Ajax based implementation? Rather, I can go for a sample because anyway JSF is giving this validation framework where I can do the validation. This is what you mean, right?
Yes.
So, but it is not that. See, Ajax is doing only validation part because it can fetch the data, and with the various events like key up, okay, key down, maybe mouse, okay, all of these are the particular events and everything we cannot, okay, get in the case of your JSF based application. Rather, we can get that in the Ajax easily. So that is the advantage we can get.
So suppose if I'm not using the Ajax, so there is a technique if I want to send only some content of the page to the server. Is that possible without using the Ajax? Can I use the JavaScript and other things?
No, because automatically what will happen? It will be happening submitting, no? You will submit the whole page. Okay, this will be whole page.
If I'll create the frames like that, then it will possible.
That is what Ajax is coming into the picture. Even if you see in .NET also, they have provided you the Ajax based controls. Okay, there is no partial updation. It is possible without an Ajax. What you are saying is do a partial updation, but without an Ajax. You are saying.
Yeah, there is no technique to
it's submitting only. Normally it is submitted. Okay. Okay then. Thank you, Pavitra. Wish you the same. As quick, okay, confirmation. A quick confirmation I want from all of us. signing it. So I want everyone to practice these demos which I have provided. So please go through that demos, and I want everyone please write any kind of your doubts or any thing which you want me to discuss even in JSF also. So we'll definitely. So now, as part of the course curriculum, we have been discussed, but apart from that, if we want to have any kind of other discussion also, you can write a mail to me so that accordingly we can collate and we can discuss that also. Set your web camera properly from Malleshwaram Center. From Malleshwaram Center. From Malleshwaram Center. Okay then, fine. So we'll be moving down to the next part, which we are going to discuss, that is about our Hibernate. So Hibernate, what is this? Hibernate is all about, and why should I implement Hibernate now? So as all of we know that Hibernate is a ORM tool. That is Object Relational Mapping tool. Basically, we are using for implementing the ORM based implementation. If we want to do, then we go for the Hibernate. So maybe many of tools are there, ORM tool. Maybe before that also we have been discussed, that is nothing but JPA, Java Persistent API, which we are using for implementing for implementation of this ORM. Now we can use also the Hibernate framework for implementing this ORM implementation. In 1 minute, we had a question from Vizag upline. Yeah, Mallikarjun, can you please speak? From Vizag. You can speak. I'm not getting your question properly, hence can you please write it in a mail so that it will be easier, because the question was not properly clear. ORM, Object Relational Mapping. In the case of your ORM, what we do is we want our class object. That is what we are creating, an object. Now we want to store that object to your database. Generally, which we are doing, it is nothing but each and every element of the object which you are carrying, and then we are storing that element in our database table which we are going to store. But however, we don't want to do that. We want to implement the Hibernate or ORM tool we want to use, so that directly an object can be stored into the database table. So as a user, you need not to take the pain to store each and every element of an object to the database also. So manually we need not to write the code. Already the built-in code or the built-in classes which are available for us to write this particular to do this particular work. So that is what the basic objective of your ORM which you do. And it's not that ORM which we can do only with the Hibernate. We can also implement through the JPA also, Java Persistent API, which you can also implement, by which also we can do store the object of our class object can be stored into the database table also. That can be possible as part of your ORM. So Now, how we are doing, okay, generally you can see, while using a traditional method to create a web application, we can implement the business logic, okay, in the application for storing or retrieving the data from the database. To store the data in a relational database, we need to convert the various properties of the Java class into primitive data types, and then, okay, it has to be stored into the relational database also. However, yes, obviously, okay, because it has to be stored in a database permanently, we need to use the serializable interface, okay, because serializable interface says that it has any class object, it has to be stored in a permanent location, then we require that serializable interface. Definitely we'll use that also. Then map the class properties with the columns of a table in the database, and to retrieve the data from the relational database, again we need to convert the database values back into the data types and into the class properties. This is this is the manual procedure by which we used to store the data into the database also. It is model, yes, you can say that, because this particular the model component, because the model component, there are two things which will contain. One is the part which is called your DAO part, which is data access object, and one is the business logic part, and which will sit in the DAO part. Hibernate will sit in the DAO part. Is it clear now? Questions? So this is about how we are implementing. So to retrieve data from the relational database, we need to convert again, and then we have to store that data into the database, or retrieve the data from the database and store it into a column values also. So this is what we are doing. So we need to write the code for handling the conversion of the values between these data types of the database and the classes. So there are a lot of problems like business logic, data manipulation code, fixing of compile time and runtime errors also, and managing database connections. All these are the parts which will need to be taken care as part of your, when you are doing the manual implementation of storing the data into the database also. So then, Hibernate will come into the picture. So let us, we'll quickly relook into this. What is this exactly we are doing in the manual process, and how Hibernate will help us to do that. One minute. Give me 1 minute. See, JPA is a part of the EZB, but EZB is not your ORS. EZB is implementing the business logic. So you cannot compare the EZB with our ORM. This one, where I have got this question. From Chandigarh. Unmute your mic. Unmute your mic from Chandigarh.
Hello?
Yeah.
Hello?
Yeah. Please tell your name.
Sir, Suman this side.
I did not get you.
Hello?
Yeah, I did not get your name. Can you please tell?
Suman. Sir, Suman.
Can you please type?
Hello?
Okay. Suman, you are from Chandigarh Center only. Same.
Yes, sir. Yes.
Chandigarh Center or any other center?
No, sir, Chandigarh Center.
All right. Yes. Arun was asked the question. We can say that okay, with the help of Java code or the annotation, we will manage the DB code without any JDB. That means what do you want? Yeah, please tell Arun. Can you be clear in with your question?
Okay. Sir, I just want to say that means in the Hibernate, the ORM concept, we won't write any JDBC code, and with the help of objects or the Java classes, with the help of annotations, we connect with the database and create the database and manage the database without writing the JDBC code.
Yes, we'll write. Okay, we have been provided an already classes and interfaces which are being provided to us, and using that, okay, we can create the table. We have provided some XML files where we can specify the connections, properties, and everything. And we need not to write explicitly the JDBC code. Okay,
and
so
the entity annotations like that.
Yes, but annotation is a part. Annotation is a part. Okay, that is our wish. Whether you want to write annotation or should not write annotation, that is our part. But if you write, that is the better way of approaching the program.
Okay, and sir, in this session we will discuss about the ORM, that means object relationship mapping, and the life cycle of ORM. We will discuss
how exactly Hibernate? Okay, we are implementing, and what is the process of ORM in Hibernate that we are going to discuss.
Life cycle about the ORM objects.
Like how exactly it is implemented through Hibernate only, we are going to discuss that. Okay.
Okay.
And tell that. And see, though we are not writing JDBC code, but however, internally it is using the JDBC code only.
Behind
it is okay.
Code in every language, I think, in any advanced language, the behind it's a core Java. If we are talking about the servlet and the Jsfs.
Yes, it is something, okay, we know better JDBC. So what we have done is, okay, because okay, other people do not know the JDBC, we have given them class. Okay, you say, write, okay, say create table, you tell, okay, give the names of the column, automatically table will be created for you. I have given a method to you. But internally, I need to write the JDBC code in my method. It is something like that, Hibernate. So they have given some sophisticated classes.
That means the Hibernate for those people who are not aware with the database.
Purely, yes. Those who do not know database properly, or those who do not know also the JDBC code properly. Okay, so that's why they will use it.
Okay.
So let us see that, okay, why, how we can use this Hibernate implementation and all that if you want to see. So previously what used to happen, if I am saying that, okay, this is an employee class, this is my employee class. and I have, let's say, employee ID, address, the properties which are there. These are all the properties which we can talk about. This is properties. Now what we do, okay, we create an instance of that. Okay, so this is maybe the EMP instance, and in this EMP instance, say employee ID E1001, employee name 1, or maybe address Hyderabad. Like that, okay, we have specified a instance into that. Okay, this is the employee instance. Now what we want is, we want, okay, this particular object needs to be stored into the database. Maybe this database can be anything, maybe Oracle or anything. So this is an employee table, it is there in the database. In this table we have employee ID, we have employee name, we have address. Like that, okay, we have the already built-in your columns which are being provided, which is your employee table which is there. Now what do we want? Okay, this data, okay, we want to store, okay, in the database. Okay, so how we are doing? Previously, if I am talking about, we use JDBC. So using JDBC, what we used to do? We used to create a connection, we used to create a statement, we used to write, okay, the results, your execution code, each and individual value we used to store into the employee, okay, table. That is what exactly we are doing in the case of your JDBC. Through the manual code procedure we have been done. Okay, through the manual code procedure we used to create the connection to the database, what is the driver of the database, everything we need to know, and by which, okay, we need to create a connection, then we need to create a your statement object, the prepare statement object, and through the prepare statement object each and every element of the values need to be sent to the database. Then it will be storing this E1001 Suman and address also. Okay, so this is the how exactly it is used to do. And I need to also check that, okay, the data types and everything also, okay, I need to be very careful of that, because this employee ID, maybe it is in string, and if I am trying to store through an integer, this will give an error. These are all the few things which are some of the hectic things, okay, which need to be taken care in the case of your JDBC. So the proper conversions and the casting, it has to be needed so that, okay, it can be stored into this particular database. Okay, because database data types are different, and maybe the object-oriented classes which you have created in the Java also, it will be different. So hence, okay, we need to, when we are storing, we need to take care about the data types and how that it has to be stored. That we used to do through the JDBC. This is the manual procedure which we used to do before we have, okay, concept of ORM. But when we are using the ORM, we need not to think about that. Okay, so we are not using that time the JDBC procedure and all. So that time, okay, we are using the Hibernate, or now we are using something called as the JPA. We can also be implemented into that. Are you getting my point now? Any questions here? So in JDBC, what is the manual process? We have understood. We need to write the prepare statement. Okay, then we need to use the setx method. Okay, setx method. Then we have to pass individual value, maybe employee ID, maybe it says employee name. Individual values I need to pass through this prepare statement. Then I have to execute this. This is what, okay, the your panic, okay, in case of your JDBC when we are implementing this actually, right? And we need to see also the data types, whether this data types is matching or not. Okay, if this data type will not match, then again we'll get an error. Okay, there is an exception or anything will come. Again we need to check that all the things. Okay, all these are the, okay, your panic situations which will be there when you are implementing in the case of your JDBC. But however, when you are implementing the ORM tool, these are all the things which will be taken care by Hibernate, or maybe when you are implementing the JPA also. That's the best part of your, okay, this Hibernate or JPA, or maybe any other ORM tool. If you are using that time, okay, we can use this, okay, ORM tool for implementing this actually. So this is my procedure, okay, I'm not implementing now. Now what we are doing, maybe this is my employee class. We have employee ID. Create an instance of that. We have the database. My database. Employee. Employee ID. In we have, okay, the last one, it is nothing but your address. So I have employee ID. The address. Now what will happen, okay, now which you are using, that is called your Hibernate. Or maybe you are using the JPA, is the ORM tools which you are going to use on that. So these ORM tools we are using, now this database it is going to store now. We need not to take care about this, okay, directly, okay, the object can be stored into this. So maybe this is my EMP object, now it can be stored into the database directly. I have to use the classes and interfaces methods of the Hibernate. I need to use that. It's an ORM tool. Yes. Is Hibernate is an ORM tool? Yes, it is a tool. And Hibernate, okay, when we are saying that, okay, it is a framework also, so it will having some classes, okay, and interfaces which are being provided, so which will help us, okay, to store the data into the database. That is the purpose why we are using the Hibernate in this case. Is it clear now? Any questions? The previous to this? Alright, so this is all about your, okay, ORM tool when we are using. So Hibernate will allow us to store the objects into the database, okay, the database tables, enable you to map the Java class to the database table, and the application, okay, development time, it can be reduced when you are using the Hibernate. Now coming back to the, okay, how the Hibernate is an ORM and what ORM will do. ORM, you can access the class by using, okay, its object. To access the tabular data, you need to use the query language also. So we can, if you want to access similarly, I have some tabular data, it is there. I want to retrieve back that data and I want to store as an object. It will take a lot of time, okay, to do that process also. Okay, but however, in case of your ORM, we have provided some of the query language. Okay, by using the query language, we can call, okay, this database, okay, the table, and we can get the, okay, your collection data. That means a collection of objects, okay, so that we can get and we can work with our application also. This is how we can be implemented as part of your ORM also. Before storing into the DB object, first, okay, it will, yes, okay, internally it has to be extracted, then it has to be stored. Other than that, okay, it is not possible. Compulsory it will do that. Okay, so we have to extract, then only we have to store. So ORM will help us to implement, okay, the data persistence by storing the value of the class properties in the database table. So this is what we need to be implemented by the ORM. So what the features about the ORM, if you see, ORM, okay, provides the bridge between the object-oriented programming to the relational database paradigms. It supports the basic object-oriented principles also. Entity Manager yes. Yes, Pallavi.
Hello.
Yeah, Pallavi,
Good morning, sir.
please tell.
Hello. Am I
Yeah,
audible?
you're audible, can you? Yes.
Sir, I wanted to ask that the tables want to in which we want to store the data, those to create manually or they will be created automatically the way these statements will be executed at the back end. Same way tables will be created or we have to create them doing this process.
We can use different things, okay, whether you want to create your own table, but you want to use starting only. Do you want to create the tables also? Then you can run also the program to create the tables. You want to know already the created tables are there, only I want to insert the data and I want to retrieve the data purpose, okay, that is also can be done. It's our wish because it is all, okay, that depends on the methods which you are going to use. Okay, so every process, the database managing we can do.
Okay, in case that we are not having any table created already, can it be created as and when we are running the queries and I want a table created and the table should be created and the data should be updated, inserted to the table.
So one by one process.
In the case we have not...
One by one process. We have to first create the table, then only we have to enter the data. Okay, so that is only the same process how we are doing. Okay, the same way.
The same process will go on.
Yes, we have to do that.
The way we can create it from like using JDBC only. That way also. That way only it will be created.
I told no that okay, it is internally it is a JDBC only. Only thing is that okay, we have been provided some sophisticated classes method by which we are doing. But okay, internally it will follow the JDBC.
That
only.
much coding we need not write. That much
Yes,
coding
that's all.
need not be written over there.
Hibernate sits on JDBC only. Without JDBC, Hibernate is not there. Okay, it sits on JDBC only. So internally it is a JDBC, but we are not doing that. Okay, so that's one part which we can talk about. You said something called as Entity Manager, right? Okay, Entity Manager, it is the part okay which we are implementing in JPA. In JPA, we are using that object, okay, by using for doing the persistence methods. There are number of methods which are there by which, okay, we are storing the data. But however, in case of your Hibernate, there are certain other classes are there by which, okay, we are going to do that. The similar class like that. All right. Is a question from you or it is a question from Suman?
Sir, it was question from Suman ma'am.
Okay.
So both two of us are taking training from here, Pallavi and Suman, both of us. So that was the question from Suman.
Okay. No, because I was a bit confused. Okay, who has asked this? Both of you are logging with this.
So we are taking training from the same center we are taking.
No problem. Fine. So that's the things about how we are implementing and all. Now, I just want to tell that okay, we'll take a break, but before we go for the break, okay, then I just want to ask that what is your respective centers Teachers' Day celebration. So accordingly, we'll customize our class timings. So what timing until that? Okay, it would be better from us. Okay, we'll decide today. Any other Maqsood? No other centers. Fine then. So actually, there are some certain celebrations are there from some other centers also. So we'll see that okay, we can close it by 12 o'clock. Okay, so close it by 12 o'clock, and we'll go for the Monday. Possibly on, maybe if it will extend okay another 3 hours. Actually, today's schedule is 9 to 3. Okay, it has to be, but okay, because we are closing at 12 o'clock, that means we are minus by 3 hours. So hence that it has to be okay compensated by. So that because there are certain centers where we have okay, there are faculties which will go from 11:30 only. So that fine. So but now we'll take a break of 15 minutes and we'll come back okay, at 11 o'clock, and we'll start with a Hibernate. And today we'll see a small example of a Hibernate also, and then I will send the demos. Please do that particular demos. But now we can take the break